Well, thanks everyone. Now look, you had a very, very enthusiastic, animated conversation. That's good. Means I must have stimulated you to have some interesting thoughts. That's very good. There was a very interesting conversation I was just part of here, in English, thank you, which was good. This was slightly, not a joke so much, but more a slightly flippant way of finishing. But it is an interesting one. It's just how do we relate to the spiritual powers and how much we bring to them and how much they bring to us. So that was very, very helpful conversation. Now, any comments that anyone would like to share from those groups? Didn't want to make every group report, but it can be helpful if someone would like to say a few words from each group. Just any thoughts that came up. So I'm sure there will be. So would you like to start here?
I have a thought about this picture. That's the angel. Yeah, like normally we think angels is something like quite spiritual. I think there's the God or something that heaven, they give us a chance to connect with the angels again. That's through our children. Actually, our children are just like angels. They are quite spiritual. Yeah, quite angelic. Yeah, like we learn from our children. Like they give us a chance to learn from them. Then we have another like rebirth chance, a revolution, that we bring a new consciousness to change our new generations, like what we do now. We do it like consciously, we teach them consciously, and lead them, not lead them, but like they're leading us to another new consciousness. Like we don't just follow from the shadow of our ancestors, like the bad karma experiences. Yeah.
Great. Great thought. Very nice. Hope for the future. How about the group over in the corner? Did you have something?
Well, we started with like the current situation where our like our teenagers, around the world, not just in Asia, people are living in a virtual world. VR, AI, you even have K-pop bands that are virtual, that are AI generated, they're not even real, they have so many fans. And so this is like the current, and people even marrying someone who is AI generated. So it sounds all very big, and we even touched on like, with all this polar ice melting, and we're going to have this great flood again, well, go back to like Atlantean times. So we're just kind of progressing to like, what is a possible future, like where are we heading? But at the end though, to summarize, I guess, we came back to, like how a big cell is just splitting, and so we are like so split up, but it could be that, like for example, water features, we are like little cells all coming together now and forming and integrating again. So they're like little, all these little cell groups now coming together, integrating and giving this new world of like a new birth, world of
Right.
Yeah, the assumption is if we look back from the ancient civilization of the Orang Asli, the indigenous people in Australia, like the tribe is like everybody's in big family, and they connected in maybe sort of a physical body way, your blood, you share the genetic, you share the same blood language, and then the environment together. But now if we are in the part of the whole process, we are still a part of the pattern of how the humanity evolving. So maybe we are now, if we are at the stage to reforming some cell, then maybe we are going to connect in a different way, maybe from the soul, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. This is part of our discussion.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Very, very, very. Now it's nearly 10. We won't have time probably to get everyone. So there are just a couple of key thoughts that anyone would like to share from particular groups.
Maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe. I think this topic if you want to know further the evolution of the human, we could read the book Esoteric Science to understand the evolution of the earth. From the whole picture from the Steiner, in that this is only in the very beginning stage of the humanity, and it will reach at some point that the whole human, they would upgrade to higher being, and at that moment, maybe including our animal kingdoms, our plant kingdom, and our mineral kingdom, they would have their own soul life. But how could we do in this stage? I think the important in our group, we focus on to develop our soul, to develop the soul of the teacher, to develop the soul of the parents. And there's one, one puzzle point that happened in our discussion is how to awake the parents, to bring the awareness to the parents that they send the children to water school is not avoid or escape from the conventional education, not being the exam tools, but instead of develop the soul life to their children in coming future, and at the same time also can build some soul life in the family to help the whole human being could upgrade to a certain level, the awakening of the soul.
Great, that's very nice, and that balances these revolutions that we're going through.
Yeah.
Great, very good, thank you.
We
Another group?
couldn't find the answer yet, but we are at the stage to look for the answer.
Yeah. Very, very powerful, very good. Yeah. Thinking.
Group here, we discussed and we talked about what she mentioned, that how we can become more human, and we went along that line and we talked about when we talk about the orang asli consciousness is a whole, and then now we are individual, so it is actually a polarity. And in this journey, how can we balance these polarities? And at the same time, we talk about us as an individual and the outside nature world as a macrocosmos. But to us, our generation, we think that all these are nature. But to the young generation, this may be natural. And then we talk about how can we bring, maybe, one of our group members mentioned, maybe the way to teach thinking, feeling, and being is not the old way anymore. And also we talk about, when a child is growing and they still do the recapitulation of the whole human history. But we also talk about when they recapitulate, there must be something new inside it. But what is this new thing we do not know? And we need to find it. Yeah.
Well, that's the challenge.
Yes.
Find a new thing. No, very nice, excellent. Great contribution. Any other ones from any other groups? No? All right. Well, look, at least you've had a chance to talk it through. So that takes us right up now. We're up to 10. Thank you, everyone. So I hope that has just made you think. Story of thinking. I hope it's made you think. And it's just how we've got to where we are today. But it's a perspective on our overall curriculum and why we tell that story. Now, as I said, that's the world story. At the same time, you have to tell the local story. So all your local cultures. So in one sense, it's only one part of the story. Just want to make that clear, that it's the world story of modern consciousness. And then our task as teachers is to share our local story, and then together the child grows up with a real totality. My local area, loving my place, and at the same time wanting to be a citizen of the world. So, all the best for the end of the year, and all the best for 2023 in your efforts as Waldorf teachers. I wish you well. It's been wonderful being part of it, and I will be thinking of you and hope to see you again next year. Thank you.